Ever feel like the tech world is just this tangled web?
It definitely can seem that way sometimes.
Well, today we're aiming to hand you a kind of map, specifically for understanding the major players in China's tech scene, which, wow, it's incredibly dynamic. This is based on your request, really, to get a clearer picture of who's who and, what it all means.
Yeah, and we'll be digging into that term you probably heard, bot, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent.
Right, the traditional big three.
Exactly. But it's really important to grasp that it's not just about how big they are. It's about their influence, their investments, the whole ecosystem they build.
That's the key, the ecosystem.
Hmm.
So the mission for this deep dive, using the insights from that newsletter you sent over the one focusing on key concepts for Chinese IT.
Yeah, it's a good resource.
It is. The mission is to really unpack how these huge companies are interconnected, and crucially, how that connection shapes innovation, competition, everything, really, inside China. Now, some of these company names might be new to you listening, and honestly, that's okay. The goal isn't to, memorize every single name and date.
No, not at all.
It's more about understanding the underlying structure, the dynamics. We want to focus on the how behind all this amazing innovation we keep seeing.
And a really foundational concept to get our heads around first is this idea of serialization, or so do in Chinese.
Serialization. Okay.
Yeah. It basically describes this really strong tendency you see in the Chinese tech world, where the major players, BAT, but others too,
Right.
they actively invest in startups. They acquire them. And this leads to these very distinct ecosystems forming around them.
Okay, and you shared that MAU ranking monthly active users, right?
That's it, from Trust Data, October 2020.
If you look at that list, especially the column on the far right showing company affiliation,
Okay.
it's striking.
It really is.
I mean, the vast majority of the most popular apps in China just fall under the umbrella of these few tech giants. It's a very clear picture of that serialization you mentioned.
Exactly. So when people in China talk about BAT, often it's not just about, their current stock price or whatever.
Or the more strategic.
It's much more about these investment activities, how they're shaping the future competitive landscape. You'll hear discussions like, who's next in the BAT lineup? Which is really about, well, who are they likely to invest in or buy next?
That makes sense. Okay, let's get into the specifics then. Starting with the Baidu.
Baidu, founded way back in 2000, Robin Lai in Beijing's tech hub, Zhangguancun.
A classic tech success story, right? Listed on the NASDAQ eventually.
Absolutely. And their core thing, initially at least, was the search engine.
The Google of China, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Their whole business model was search advertising. And like Google did early on, they expanded into related stuff, maps, books, news, that kind of thing.
But then they made this big shift, didn't they, towards AI?
They really did, quite early too. They set up their Deep Learning Research Institute in 2013.
Wow, 2013.
Yeah. And they've poured resources into Apollo, their autonomous driving platform. They've actually achieved level 4 autonomy in certain areas.
Which means the car drives itself mostly.
And defined areas, yeah, without human intervention needed for most situations. They're even testing robotaxis in places like Changsha.
Okay, but despite that forward-looking stuff, they've faced challenges recently.
That's the interesting part. Yeah, they've kind of underperformed. Partially because these big bets on AI and autonomous driving, they take a long time to pay off.
Right, long-term investments.
And at the same time, their core advertising business got hit hard by the rise of, well, ByteDance.
Ah, ByteDance, TikTok's parent company.
Exactly. ByteDance uses this incredibly powerful AI recommendation engine. It powers their news app, today's headlines, and obviously TikTok.
So instead of people searching for stuff like on Baidu.
Right. ByteDance pushes personalized content to you. News, videos, whatever.
Yeah.
And that shift fundamentally changed where the online advertising money started flowing.
So Baidu's search model lost ground to ByteDance's recommendation model.
It definitely put pressure on their ad revenue, no doubt. But, you can't count Baidu out.
Why is that?
Because their underlying tech development capability is still incredibly strong. Once those big AI and autonomous driving investments start generating real profit, well, they absolutely have the potential to lead those future markets.
Okay, interesting. Let's move to the A then. Alibaba, founded 1999, Hangzhou. Jack Ma. Everyone knows Jack Ma.
Their start was quite different. They began with Alibaba.com, which was B2B business to business.
Connecting Chinese factories with buyers overseas.
Exactly. Free listings, but you could pay for better visibility, enhanced services. It was huge for opening up international trade for Chinese businesses back then.
And then came Taobao, the marketplace, 2003.
Yeah, and the timing was, well, almost perfect, though unfortunate circumstances. It launched just as the SARS outbreak was ending.
So people were staying home, maybe more open to online shopping?
Precisely. E-commerce adoption just surged, and Taobao was right there, ready to capture that wave.
And Singles Day, November 11th, that became massive.
Unbelievably massive. Started relatively small, 2009, just a discount event. Now it's this global shopping frenzy. And the backbone supporting all that, Alibaba Cloud and Alipay.
Alibaba Cloud, they started that really early too, didn't they? 2009.
We did. And now it's the biggest cloud provider in China, a major player globally. It has to be incredibly robust to handle single-day peaks. We're talking, what was the figure? 583,000 orders per second in 2020.
Per second, that's just technically astounding. How did they even build for that kind of peak back then?
Well, that early investment in scalable, resilient cloud infrastructure was key. It gave them a massive advantage. And then there's Alipay.
Which is way more than just QR code payments now.
Oh, yeah. It's morphed into this whole lifestyle app. You can order food, hail a ride, pay bills. It's integrated into everything. It's indispensable for millions in China.
But you mentioned a weakness for Alibaba, something missing.
Yeah, a significant one, potentially. They don't really have a strong native social networking platform.
Which matters more now with social commerce, live streaming sales.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's not for lack of trying. Remember their attempt with Quanzi Circles inside Alipay back in 2016?
Vaguely. It didn't last long, did it?
No, it got shut down really quickly. They ran into big problems with inappropriate content and just couldn't get the social dynamics right. It really shows that being huge in e-commerce doesn't automatically mean you can crack social media.
Fascinating. Okay, rounding out BAT, we have the Tencent.
Tencent, founded 1998, Shenzhen, Ponyma.
And they started with messaging.
Yeah, QQ, their PC-based instant messaging software. A big draw was the IP telephony making calls over the internet.
Which was huge back then, connecting people across China when maybe phones weren't everywhere or long distance was expensive.
Exactly. And QQ grew beyond just chat. It added email, blogging, became more of a personal platform.
But the real game changer for them early on was a game, right?
QQ Farm. Sounds simple. Plant virtual crops, harvest them.
I remember those kinds of games.
Yeah. But the genius was the social interaction. You could help friends or, playfully steal their crops if they didn't harvest them.
Ah, the social element.
That plus selling virtual items for QQ coins.
Right.
That combination really set the stage for everything Tencent did later in social and gaming.
It paved the way for WeChat, basically, their mobile monster app.
Absolutely. WeChat for the social side and WeChat Pay for mobile payments, which is just everywhere now.
Everywhere. And they dominate gaming, too.
Oh, completely. Through smart acquisitions and developing huge hits in-house, like Honor of Kings or PUBG Mobile, they are the world's biggest gaming company by revenue now. It's quite a journey from QQ.
So, interestingly, unlike Alibaba, who built their own e-commerce empire, Tencent took a different path.
Yeah, their focus shifted more towards enabling retail, using WeChat Pay, providing business tools. They tried direct e-commerce earlier with something called Pai Pai Wang, but it didn't really take off.
So what did they do instead?
Strategic investments. They poured money into established e-commerce players. JD.com, Pinduoduo, the social e-commerce one, even Miss Fresh for grocery delivery.
Ah, so they leverage WeChat's massive user base and integrate payments and ordering through things like WeChat mini programs.
Exactly. It's a more indirect approach, but very powerful. It lets them benefit from e-commerce growth without running the whole operation themselves.
Which sets up this O2O battleground, online to offline.
Precisely. You've got Alibaba with its direct investments, Hema supermarkets, Sun Art retail, Eled.me delivery.
Competing against Tencent's portfolio, JD.com, Yonghui supermarkets, Meituan for local services, Miss Fresh.
It's this complex web of competition, often fought through these investments.
And that brings us beyond just bait. We hear about the new BAT, or BATH, BATX, BATJ.
Yeah, those acronyms keep evolving because other major players have risen. The most significant one is probably ByteDance.
We mentioned them challenging Baidu. Their core strength is that AI recommendation engine.
Absolutely. It's incredibly sophisticated. It's what made today's headlines news app so successful. No human editors, just algorithms delivering personalized content.
Totally different from search.
Fundamentally different. And then, obviously, TikTok's global explosion. Same principle. Personalized video recommendations, super effective video ads. And in China, Douyin, the local version, is huge in live commerce, too.
And they might be looking at online education.
There are reports, yeah. It seems like a potential next move for them.
So these expanded acronyms, BATH, ATX, BATJ, who are the H, X, and J.
Okay, so generally H is for Huawei, X for Xiaomi, and J for JD.com.
Huawei, the telecom giant.
Right. Founded 87, Shenzhen, Renjing Fei, started later in life, 44. Did various things initially, then really focused on telecom gear, became a huge smartphone maker, leader in 5G, though facing those big challenges now with U.S.-China trade tensions.
And massive R&D spending.
Huge R&D, yes.
Yeah.
Then Xiaomi, founded 2010, Beijing, Leijun.
Their thing is well-designed, affordable tech inspired by Muji.
That's the idea.
Right.
Good design, good price. And they have this very user-focused development process. They often start with the app, then the UI, then build the hardware around user feedback.
And they have those My Fans, the loyal community.
They do. And they're expanding fast into smart home devices. Again, good quality, good prices, sold on their own e-commerce platform, Xiaomi Yupen.
Okay, and finally, J is JD.com.
JD.com, founded 98, Beijing, Lu Chengdong. Actually started as a physical store, selling like CDs and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but pivoted hard to e-commerce during SARS, like Taobao's timing. Their big differentiator is their own logistics network.
Warehouses, delivery vans, everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Aiming for nationwide 24-hour delivery. And as we said, a key partner for Tencent in the e-commerce space. Part of that Tencent triangle with Yonghui supermarkets.
So this brings us back to the whole ecosystem dynamic.
Right. When a new business area pops up in China, bike sharing, group buying, whatever.
Alibaba and Tencent jump in.
Almost invariably. They invest in competing companies or acquire them. It often becomes this proxy war between the two giants, playing out in that new sector.
Like the O2O new retail examples we gave. Alibaba's Hema versus Tencent's partners like JD and Yonghui.
Precisely. And the implication for startups is pretty stark.
You basically have to pick a side.
Often, yeah. To get the funding, the resources, the access to users, aligning with either the Alibaba camp or the Tencent camp becomes almost necessary for serious growth. It really shapes how new companies emerge and compete.
Are there other key players in, say, the Tencent sphere worth mentioning?
Definitely Meituan. They're huge in local lifestyle services, food delivery, hotel booking, movie tickets, a major rival to Alibaba's related businesses. And their founder, Wang Jing, has been quite outspoken, even critical of Jack Ma publicly.
Adds a bit of spice to the rivalry.
A little bit, yeah. And maybe also BBK Electronics is worth a quick mention.
BBK.
Founded by Duan Yongping. They were famous back in the day for the Sabor game console, basically a Nintendo clone that was super popular in China. But more significantly now, BBK is the parent company behind two massive smartphone brands, OPPO and Vivo.
Right. OPPO and Vivo come from BBK. I didn't realize that connection.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineage there.
So the big takeaway here seems to be, if you encounter a new Chinese tech company, it's really helpful to figure out who's backing them. Which camp are they in?
Absolutely. Understanding those affiliations gives you so much context. It helps you understand their likely strategy, their resources, their potential rivals, and, frankly, their prospect for the future.
It tells you who their friends and enemies are, almost.
In a business sense, yeah. You can deduce a lot about their competitive advantages, the market forces acting on them, just by knowing who invested.
Okay, so to wrap this up then, the Chinese tech landscape, it's largely shaped by these investment strategies, these alliances, dominated by Alibaba and Tencent primarily.
With ByteDance as this major rising force.
And significant roles played by others like Huawei, Xiaomi, JD.com, and the companies they back.
And understanding these connections, these ecosystems, really gives you a valuable framework for making sense of all the innovation and competition happening there.
It helps untangle that web we started with.
Hopefully, yes.
All right, so here's a final thought, something for you to mull over. We've talked about this intricate web of interconnected companies, these powerful ecosystems. How might the increasing focus we're seeing on regulation within China, how might that impact the future of these ecosystems and the pace of innovation itself?
That is the big question right now, isn't it? How regulation reshapes this landscape.
Definitely something worth keeping an eye on.